Coming up, are you stressing over the name of your app? Well, you're going to discover a simple process for coming up with the right name and if it even matters. Stay tuned. What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.co. Today, I want to talk to you about coming up with the right name for your app. It's a question that I get asked frequently. Does it even matter? So yes, it matters for growth, obviously, and it matters for just the vanity sake of it. So for instance, for growth, if you want to naming your app with the keywords that you have in it, so let's say word cross hero or crossword star, crossword genius, crossword whatever, or trying to think of some other ones that might be popular, but to-do list magician. You might want to name your apps that way because it obviously has those keywords that you're trying to rank for, and it's usually the first word. So if you went, water bottle star, then obviously you want water bottle as your keyword. So you start with it. So that's important to have from a growth perspective. And adding that second phrase will actually help you in terms of telling your friends, hey, go check out my new app. It's called Water Bottle Star. And they can actually probably find it rather than calling it water bottle or some other app name where if you just tell them to go search for it, they'll never find it, right? I've worked with a few clients where their app name, they're not even ranking number one for. And there's no point in that. For me, I just feel silly. It's like, go check out my app, but scroll to number 50. I'm number 50 for the keyword I just told you, my app name, right? So those are factors that you have to take into place. And then lastly, what I also want to mention is don't spend a whole lot of time on it. I have people who stress constantly over the name of their app. I would say don't spend so much time on it. So let me give you a few examples of companies, famous, huge companies that had different names and different company names before when they first started, right? I'm gonna link up the article that kind of talks about this, but Google was actually called Backrub, all right? Backrub. I don't know. I'm glad they changed it to Google. The other one is, I just finished his book too, but Phil Knight, I think it's Shoe Dog, but essentially Nike was called Blue Ribbon Sports before they rebranded to Nike. So obviously it doesn't matter as much. It's important to have a good name that people can find, but I don't think it's gonna matter that much. And from an app perspective, I'm gonna pull up my list right here, but Uber Cab, before it became Uber, Pickaboo, now you might know it as Snapchat, and then Bourbon, now you might know that as Instagram. So again, when you're thinking about the app name, obviously brand is important, but also in the early days when you're just looking for growth, maybe you want those keywords in there first and foremost before you have to rebrand. And I think Tinder was called Matchbox, and then before they changed it to Tinder. So again, it matters if you're looking for growth to have those keywords in the very start of the app name, like water bottle genius, for example, or hydration genius, for example. That matters. And secondly, if you're spending a whole lot of time on it, like weeks upon weeks, I would say just launch, get it out there, see how you're able to grow and see if there's traction. And then like these guys, the examples I just brought up to you, you can always change it later and grow into a humongous company. Oh, one more thing. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that junk that people tell you to do on YouTube. So make sure you do that as well. And check out the podcast. If you guys are just watching the videos, I appreciate it because then you get to see my face. But if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, check it out too. You'll be able to digest a lot of the video content on audio form and then hear some really great interviews from my guests. That is at masters.co/iTunes. All right. See ya.